Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is the 12th episode of my 2023 Natural Bodybuilding Competition Prep Series. This is finishing up week 25 of prep, my prep diet, and I'm now only 11 weeks out from competition number 1, and it really feels like it's getting close. I feel like anything, when you're under 12 weeks from competition, like that's when you're really in that kind of final stretch. So needless to say, I'm pretty excited. I'm getting more excited with every week that passes by. The changes are becoming more prominent. And things are overall just going very well. Now, that being said, an event did occur last Saturday. Nothing terrible. Well, I mean, it sucked, but I guess I'll just share it with you. So when I went into my training session on Saturday and I tweaked my back a little bit, my lower back. Sometimes things just happen, that's for sure. But anyways, what happened was I went into my training session and I was feeling a little bit more tired, a little bit more drained than usual. I know I carried a little bit of extra stress with me into my session too, a little bit more stress that day from outside reasons. So a little bit more stressed, a little bit more tired, probably under recovered going into that session. Felt a little bit lighter just from having been in the diet for a good amount of time now, and I'm getting leaner here. So anyways, I go to do my first exercise and it's my Romanian deadlifts. I haven't shown them a whole lot in these videos, but I will typically start my Saturday session with a Romanian deadlift, and I was doing it with the barbell there. And I was using a load that was pretty heavy, but I think at this point is a little too heavy for what my current state is. So it's 325 pounds with a little bit of a deficit that I created for myself with the barbell standing on some plates. So I did a couple warm-up sets, felt okay, like honestly didn't feel amazing just because I felt a little bit more beat up than usual, a little bit more tired, a little bit more stress came with me into the gym, into the lifting session. And then sure enough, like I'm aiming for a set of at least 8 reps. And on the 4th rep, I felt like a little bit of a clunk, like just something went kind of off in my lower back, kind of in the bottom right part of my lower back. And I knew right when that happened, like the set is over basically. So it wasn't super serious. Like even when I felt it, I was like, okay, like I've had like pretty serious, serious enough lower back kind of injuries to know that it wasn't something super serious right when it happened. But even when it happened, I was like, yeah, this is going to be something that's going to take me a couple days to recover from. And I'm going to have to kind of be a little bit more conservative and strategic with my training from this point onward. So yeah, sure enough, like I was sore. It affected the rest of my training session. I had to be really careful. I still finished my training session and I still trained my hamstrings. I did something a little bit different this week. I changed to a different machine, which I actually love now. But I still finished my training session, but I was just very mindful of knowing that like it was a little bit of an injury and I had to be careful with it. And then so for the next couple of days, like it was sore when I was walking around and in certain positions, and when we were walking it was a little bit sore. It took 48 to 72 hours for it to really kind of the soreness to kind of subside completely. At this point, like I haven't been sore for a couple days, so honestly it was a very minor tweak overall. So we're 100% okay with that, but I think it's important to bring that up here for a couple of reasons. So personally, when something like that happens, like for me, I'm looking at it like the universe is kind of telling me at this point, like, hey, like you need to be very strategic with your lifting right now. Like, and you know, it's not like I wasn't thinking that before, but it's like now you need to be strategic in an even different way. So it's like the universe is telling me like, hey, like be careful. Like you're getting lean at this point. Like you're getting into the real depths of the contest prep here. You're not going to be able to lift the same way that you could, 3 months ago, 6 months ago before you started prep. Like you're going to have to strategize a little bit more. So I'm taking it as the universe kind of sent me a little bit of a message there, just to like, be more strategic. And I have been. So even part of this has changed my exercise selection a little bit. So this, for example, my Romanian deadlifts, or sorry, my Bulgarian split squats, I just experimented with this new setup here with this machine, instead of the dumbbells, because I was worried, like, I don't want it to be injurious to just pick up the 100-pound dumbbells from the floor to do the exercises. Just the act of picking up the dumbbells, and there's a little bit less stability. This is very stable, and I can really focus on the meat of my lower body, just really stimulating my muscle bellies with having a little bit more stability with the way this machine is set up, to make it overall very stimulative but very minimally injurious. And holy crap, it felt amazing. I'm going to keep training with that machine, that setup for my Bulgarian split squats, like when I'm done my contest prep, and like when I'm just like trying to just focus on muscle growth. Like, I'm going to keep rolling with that. So me kind of experiencing that tweak on the weekend, the universe, I feel, is like telling me, be more strategic. And it's almost like when that kind of thing happens, it's almost like it's a blessing in disguise. I actually like to think of that every time I experience any kind of a nagging injury or an injury or a pain at the gym, because oftentimes that kind of thing forces us to reevaluate how we're moving, how we're training, what our exercise selection is when we're at the gym. And it kind of forces us to train more effectively and to teach us some kind of a lesson. So for me, that kind of forced me to reevaluate how I'm training now, to try to find more strategic ways of really stimulating my muscles without incurring an extra risk of injury. Because I mean, hey, we're getting to this place in contest prep where my body is a little bit, it's just lighter. It's just a little bit lighter than what it once was. It might not be able to handle the loads the same way, exercises the same way. So that Bulgarian split squat, for example, I changed the exercise, and my goodness, I love it. And I might not have found that kind of variation, that little experiment. I was thinking about it for a couple of days, like, what am I going to do about my Bulgarian split squats? And I thought of that machine and thought of that setup with the deficit. You can kind of rewind to watch how I created it, like with the steps there. And man, like, I absolutely love that variation. I also did a new variation for my Romanian deadlifts too that I really love. The other thing that I'm changing for a lot of my exercises, not all of them, but the ones that are appropriate, is I'm decreasing the load for some of them, and I am also decreasing the rep tempo, making them almost painfully slow reps, where I can, especially on the eccentric, so slow that I can almost like feel my muscle fibers like splitting apart, like just this really intense feeling in the muscle bellies that it's a different feeling when you go through your reps like a little bit quicker. And it's like, I wasn't going fast through my reps before that for any of my exercises, but just going this much slower, it's a different feeling, but it's so stimulative, and it's arguably going to be a little bit safer because just the lower loads, putting a little bit less stress on connective tissue and on the different parts of my structure, my body structure, whilst allowing me to still tax and stimulate the muscles like to a very high level. So I'm encouraging the muscle that I have on my body to stay on my body just in a little bit safer of a way. And it's making things pretty interesting too. Like, you'll see, I'll show later on here, my leg press, like I did that this morning, and the slower reps, my goodness, like the feeling of like it's almost like a feeling of the different heads of my quadriceps are kind of like splitting apart. That's what it kind of feels like, and I love it. It's uncomfortable and it's like painful, but it's like, I almost envision it as it's like kind of carving out my muscle bellies, and it's probably not what's actually happening, but that's kind of how I envision it when I do it, and I really like that. So anyhow, here it is, by the way. So check out how slow I'm moving. I took off some weight on this guy, but like moving very slow, really concentrating. I'll pause at the bottom there. But those super slow eccentrics, like painfully slow, like you might be thinking like, why are you going that slow? Man, it's a very cool feeling on the muscles. It's very hard. It's not easier to do this by any means, but it is easier in the sense that it gives me less of that like little feeling of anxiety beforehand, where it's like, yeah, I'm lifting really heavy. I got to do a lot of reps. Like, I hope my body is going to be okay by the end of this. I don't get that kind of a feeling. It's easier in the sense it's like, yeah, this is going to be really hard on my muscle bellies, but I know I'm going to, like, it's safe. Like, I know it's safe. This is going to be lots of stimulus, and I'm just going to be okay by the time I get to the other end here. But there you go. So the little tweak on the weekend, I'm taking it as a blessing in disguise. It's forced me to kind of change the way that I train, probably for the rest of prep here, to ensure that I'm safe and keep all of my hard-earned muscle that I've spent my whole life trying to put onto my frame. Yeah, it's a lot of training. I'm 30. I'm 30 this year. Well, I've already turned 30. I turned 30 about a month and a half ago, and I started lifting when I was like, my basic lifting when I was like 12. So I've been, you know, I wasn't great at it when I started, that's for sure, but I've been doing it for a long time. So I've got a good foundation of muscle that I'm wanting to hold on to when I get on the competition stage. So that brings me to my next point. I'm in the middle of a diet break right now too. So Jeff just kind of on Wednesday, like after our check-in, he just, yeah, like we're gonna do a diet break for about 7 days. So from Wednesday to Tuesday, I'm eating at maintenance calories. Part of that is to help, because my appetite, I reported to him my appetite like spiked up. And it's true, it just kind of hit me over a couple days. It was just like, wow, I am hungry. And that's definitely going to happen in a prep, but it kind of really hit me. And him being very proactive, and he was like, yeah, let's take the diet break now. Like, my energy level's still pretty good. Gym performance, aside from that tweak, he was still pretty good. But mood's really good, but just proactively to make sure that like I'm healthy and I'm strong and I'm holding onto my muscle before the competition. As I get into this last part of prep, we're taking the diet break right now. And this is going to be great because now after this, I'll have 10 weeks to dial into what I'm going to look like on stage, which is going to be probably the hardest part of prep, is going to be these last 10 weeks. And it's going to be cool because now I'm going to this place, and I talked about this last week, this place from being like pretty lean, like, you know, as they put it, legally shredded, to getting like peeled, like alien lean. So I'm kind of, it's like, as Jeff puts it, I'm like out to sea, and I've been kind of treading water. Now I'm like kind of getting my head above water a little bit again. And then for the next 10 weeks, I'm just going to get back to it, get back to the deficit, and see how peeled and how much muscle I can hold on to when we get to the other side. But I think it's great. I'm feeling really good. This is day 3 of the maintenance calories. I can feel my energy levels are up. It's helping my appetite too. So it's not, you know, it's not like I'm not in a contest prep anymore. Definitely feel the prep, but it is a notable difference in hunger and energy levels. Still quite hungry. Like, I could still go and eat all the food out there and not stop, probably. But it does improve quality of life quite a bit. Just even this is the 3rd day and I'm noticing it. So yeah, right now we're catching our breath a little bit. Training's going great, by the way. Like, been getting some pretty cool pumps at the gym. This training session is from this morning, day 3 of my maintenance calories, and I can feel the extra carbohydrates, and I can see it too, which is really exciting. But anyways, yeah, we're doing pretty good. Very excited here. And we've only got more cool stuff ahead of us from this point. I think the most exciting part of prep starts now. So anyways, guys, thanks so much for joining in, for watching. Give the video a like if you like it, and subscribe to the channel if you're wanting to see more. There's going to be more to come, and watch the other videos in this series too. But anyways, thanks guys so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. 11 weeks out, guys. Here we go.